My name is Joe Bach, along with my partner Bill Maas, and here we go. You know, Bill, you look at these two teams, midway point took them to the Super Bowl, and as this season goes along, they're getting more and more healthy.
Well, Joe, 2 games better primarily because of 2 guys, Tomczak and Bettis. And first of all, Mike Tomczak, what he's doing well is Mike is making all the right decisions this year, and Mike hasn't always done that throughout his career. And the reason he's making all the right decisions is because of Jerome Bettis. When you pound the middle of a defensive line, it's really going to take the wind out of the pass rush. So when you can create 3rd and short, it makes it a lot easier on your quarterback.
And when you talk about quarterbacks and running backs and offense, well, look at the St. Louis Rams. They're trying to turn this thing around right now, predominantly with rookies. And at the head of that list is their running back, Lawrence Phillips, not off to the kind of start they hoped he would get to when they picked him number 6 overall.
Well, he has all the abilities and capabilities of becoming a great back. And the reason he's struggling is the same reason Bettis struggled last year in St. Louis, and that's because of the offensive line. They've really struggled, run blocking, pass blocking, and it's also affected Tony Banks. It's tough enough being a rookie quarterback in this league without worrying about getting hit every other play.
Big test for that St. Louis offense today with this very good Steeler defense. You look terrific in this Fox winter gear, by the way. Show them the pullover.
And it's good to have you back, Joe.
It's great to be back. It's great to be here. It's going to be a lot of fun today in Pittsburgh. Bundle up. It's chilly. Getting ready for the Rams and the Steelers. Coming up after this from your local Fox station. Temperature in the low 40s, and it will drop, obviously, as this day progresses here in Pittsburgh, but a nice day. For a November afternoon, the Steelers have won the toss. They will receive, and we'll get an early look at the Steeler offense and the Rams defense, which is banged up. Chip Lohmiller ready to kick it away for St. Louis with Ernie Mills and Eric Pegram back deep for the Steelers. Glad you're with us. Here we go. Taken by Pegram just outside the 10. Right up the gut and brought down at the 30, which is where the Steeler offense will set up. J.T. Thomas in on the tackle for the St. Louis Rams, a return of 19 yards. There's the quarterback. Was not the quarterback, the starting quarterback in the opener of the season. We have a player down, so we have plenty of time to get through the lineups for you. Up front, Jackson Wolford, Dermontti Dawson in the middle. Very good center with Muslinski and Justin Strelzik, the right tackle. The backs and receivers, Jerome Bettis and Tim Lester, former combination of the Los Angeles Rams. Charles Johnson, Andre Hastings are the wide receivers, and Mark Bruner is the tight end. Player down is Fred McAfee. Checking on the leg of McAfee. And we'll give you a look at maybe what happened to him.
There's McAfee to the left of your screen. You see he's right in the middle of the wedge. And he gets caught up with all the bodies, and it's tough to see what happened right there, but you can see all the bodies. And when those bodies are flying around down there, Joe, as you know, anything can happen.
Special teams captain is McAfee. That's not a fun way to make a living.
It's not a fun way to start a game.
McAfee, who is one of the extra running backs, in fact, the 3rd halfback behind Bettis and Pegram, needs help getting off the field. So the Steelers come out stumbling, literally, here in this game, and injuries become a factor, obviously, as we go along, and injuries have hit no team harder than the St. Louis Rams. And Rich Brooks will tell you they're a couple of plays away from, instead of being 2-6 to 4-4. That doesn't really matter. They are 2-6, but they're banged up.
Joe, primarily where they've suffered those injuries has been in their secondary, and their starting secondary is like a star-studded secondary. But every other week they have a guy coming and going, and it's created confusion for them back there.
So we're ready to go. Steelers have it, first down at their own 30, with Bettis and Lester in the backfield behind Tomczak. Bettis. Early handoff. He's out to the 34.5 on first down. He got a few. Lyle and Jones were in on the tackle. Bettis' former teammates up front, O'Neal, Jimmy Jones, DeMarco Farr, and Kevin Carter. The linebackers anchored by Robert Jones, the former Cowboy, in the middle. And the secondary. See a lot of faces in that secondary. Parker, Lyle, McBurrows, and Todd Light. Starting strong safety Toby Wright is out with a hamstring injury. First throw of the day is the first completion of the day, out across the 40. Catch was made by Andre Hastings with Todd Light on top of him.
Joe, for the Rams defensively, you know, you've heard this time and time again, but no other time is it suited better than today when you have to stop the run. and that's Jerome Bettis. And they have to win on first down. Willie Shaw, the defensive coordinator, said, we have to win on first down. They didn't on the opening possession.
Pass was completed for 6 yards. A first down for the Steelers. Bettis. Jerome Bettis across the 45, brought down by Jenkins and Farr. He got 5.
Well, you know, Jerome Bettis runs the ball hard on any given day. But when you play against your old team, and when he left that team, it was a bad deal. They said he was done, he was washed up, and now you get a chance to, what he says, close the door on this chapter. And here you can see, not only does he run straight ahead, but he has the ability, once he gets the perimeter, Joe, to cut back.
Lester in motion. Tomczak to throw. Caught. Charles Johnson inside the 40. The Steelers have run 4 plays, 2 passes, 2 runs, and they've been successful with every snap.
Well, the run is setting up the pass, and it's been that way for the Steelers so far this year, especially since Tomczak took over the helm. There's defense coordinator Willie Shaw. He's looking on. I'm sure he's not happy with the start so far.
A gain of 15 on the completion to Johnson and a first down inside the St. Louis 40. Bettis again. Jerome Bettis got 8, maybe 9 shy of the 30, and what a start for the former Ram.
He's playing possessed, wouldn't you think, Joe?
You have to believe, and when we sat down with him yesterday, a little smile crept on his face when we talked about getting a chance to face the Rams today.
And when he talked about his fullback, Timmy Lester. He also says, when I talk about Lester, I have to smile, because Lester's the guy that's really doing the brunt of the work for him, opening up all those holes.
3 carries, 17 yards for Bettis. Second down and a couple. Bettis picks it up inside the 25 down to the 21.
You know, for a guy of Jerome Bettis' size, watch his eyes. Watch him look for the hole to open. Once he sees it, he picks it. And the thing about Jerome Bettis, look at the guys trying to tackle him. And the one guy isn't going to bring Jerome Bettis down. He's a big target. He's easy to find. But once you do wrap him up, he's usually going to drag you for a couple.
He's already had 6 100-yard days. He's off to a great start. Cordell Stewart is now in the lineup for the Steelers. It's Bettis again. And for the first time, he gets only a couple. Carlos Jenkins was there for St. Louis. He's been bothered by a bad ankle. The Rams are going to need him in that lineup here this afternoon if they're going to have any hope of shutting down this Steeler offense.
You know, right now, Jerome's off and running, averaging about 6 yards a pop. And, you know, needless to say, anytime a running back is averaging 6 yards, it's going to be a long day for the defense.
Cordell Stewart out. Hastings back into the lineup for the Steelers on 2nd and 7. Bettis to the 15. Bill, this is where the Steelers have struggled. Down inside the 20, it has been a danger zone for Bill Cowher's offense.
Exactly. Only about 28% of the time have they scored touchdowns once they're inside the 20. And we talked to Chan Galley, the offensive coordinator, for him. He said, well, you know, we've gotten a situation where we tried gimmick plays down there, reverses, Statue of Liberties, things of those nature, and they've lost on first down, so it's put them at 2nd and long.
Cordell Stewart in at receiver. Bettis out of the lineup. Tomczak to throw. Has his man. Has a first down. Hastings down to the 5.
We were talking about creating 3rd and short. And you can see, watch, there's only 4 men rushing for the Rams. And you can see Hastings put a nice move right there out on Torrin Doran. Torrin Doran last week suffered a concussion, was out for a little while. In the safety position for the Rams, they've struggled a little bit there.
There's a pickup of 10 and a 1st and goal for the Steelers from the 5. Bettis to the 3. Robert Jones and Todd Light there for St. Louis.
Well, you know, they get down there around the red zone, and one of the things they haven't done is blitz much. But watch light off the corner. I mean, this is what you're going to have to do if you're the Rams. I mean, they haven't blitzed much in the past, but they've got to get safety help. They've got to get corner support. They've got to send people in there to disrupt the running game, because the Steelers just look like they're dominating this.
Speaking of a disruption, here is Cordell Stewart in at quarterback. Tom Zach out. 2nd and goal. Bettis. Touchdown, Pittsburgh.
And that's Steelers football. That opening drive is Steelers football.
The 3-yard touchdown run from Bettis, capping a perfect drive from the Steelers to start. And now Norm Johnson on to kick the extra point. This is the way you draw the offense for the Steelers. Hand it to Bettis, stand back, watch, and celebrate.
Southwest Airlines. With fares so low, you have the freedom to go places. By the new Lexus ES300, the road is calling. Answer it. By MasterCard. MasterCard, it's smart money. And by 7-Eleven. Oh, thank heaven for 7-Eleven.
I want you to take a look at the blocks by Myslinski and Strelzak on their guys. Now watch here. Robert Jones gets caught flowing over the top and isn't able to come back and clog up the hole. Open hole. Bettis, great eyesight finding him.
Bettis 8 carries, 38 yards on the opening possession, including the touchdown. And now on the ensuing kickoff, it's J.T. Thomas. Big return across the 30. Brought down around the 32 by Lathan Flowers. Bettis wanted to say hello to his former teammates from Jerome to St. Louis. Hello. By the rookie Tony Banks fool you. Bill Moss, he has had a terrific start to his rookie season.
I really like the kid. I like his size. I like his arm strength. The things. I mean, he does a lot of things well, but it's hard pressed on a quarterback coming in when you have all that pressure on you, and that's really been the story.
That's been the problem, and you saw the first lineup of guys up front. That has been a problem for St. Louis for the 2 years the Rams have been in St. Louis. Blocking and what happens up front. An early handoff to Lawrence Phillips. Trying to bounce outside. He got a couple. Close to the 35. The 3-4 defense for the Pittsburgh Steelers. As good a defense and as active a defense as there is in the NFL. Anchoring it in the middle up front is Joel Steed. The linebackers very active. Keep an eye on 55 Jerry Olszewski. He will move around. Not a big guy, but he makes things happen. And the secondary very good with Williams and Woodson on the corners, Lake and Perry the safeties. And an early injury, and not a good sign for St. Louis. I believe that's Lawrence Phillips. He's been bothered by a knee and he is down and in pain.
Well, that's exactly what St. Louis doesn't need to have to happen to him, especially on offense. You know, you saw the Steelers march down the field, Joe, on their defense and do basically whatever they wanted to do. And now offensively, you look with 5 rookies and then you face the Pittsburgh Steelers defense. I mean, they cause confusion for everybody. Let's take a look at the end of the play over on the sidelines. He gets dragged down. Bunch of bodies again.
You know, you never want to speculate on any kind of an injury. His left knee was the first thing to hit. He's been bothered by a bad knee. He picked up only 1 on the carry, and he has been down ever since, and now finally being helped to his feet. So as Phillips goes out, Harold Green comes in, and the Rams have really been pleased with what Green has given St. Louis early this season.
Well, actually, when he's played, he's been a more productive back, and I think it's his ability to scamper a little bit better than Phillips.
2nd down and 9 from the Rams 35. First throw of the day is to Isaac Bruce. No surprise there. Out of the hand of Banks into the waiting arms of Isaac Bruce. Those two hooked up last week for 11 catches, 229 yards, at Baltimore, and here they are 1 for 1 today in Pittsburgh.
And that's what they're going to have to do offensively. They're going to have to run the passes underneath, the slants, the hitches, the quick things to get the ball out of Banks' hands.
Gain of 7, 3rd and 2. Harold Green looking for daylight. He was brought down right at the marker, and it will literally depend on the spot. It looks like the Rams picked up the first down. They do. The word on Fred McAfee, who was injured on the opening kickoff of the game, bothered by an ankle problem. He has left for x-rays. First down for St. Louis from across their own 40. Second throw, and Bruce wasn't ready for it. Now a flag comes flying at the end of the play. Willie Williams working on Isaac Bruce, and we have our first flag of the afternoon. Jerry Markbright is our referee here this afternoon, and this will go against Pittsburgh.
Holding number 27, defense, 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
They're in man-to-man coverage. Watch Willie Williams on Bruce. See the contact he has, and get a hold of his shirt. That's past 5 yards. You can have contact up to 5 yards, but you can't be pulling on a jersey like that downfield.
They were working on the left knee of Lawrence Phillips. Good to see he's up and moving around on his own. Harold Green still in the lineup for St. Louis. They have a first down at their own 49. Toss to Green. Bouncing it outside, big yards. Green getting 9 over to the right side, and finally forced out of bounds by Levon Kirkland.
Well, here's one of the rookies, 84 Conwell. Watch the block he puts on Jason Gilden to open the whole right side of this play up. And then you get the lead backer up there, Green, or more.
Green 2 carries, 11 yards. He got 9, second down and 1. Again, Harold Green stumbling and falling short of a first down by about half a yard.
Joe, this offense starts 5 rookies. You know, you have Kennison, and then you have the 2 fullbacks are rookies. Quarterbacks are rookie, Lawrence Phillips, and then the tight ends are rookie. And anytime you have 5 rookies on your offense, right away, you know you're going to have problems. Because if you have 1 rookie in your offense, you know rookie mistakes are going to occur. Now you're multiplying those chances by 5.
3rd and 1. Green falls forward and is brought down right at the first down marker again. This time it's Jason Gilden in on the tackle for the Steelers.
Watch Gilden. There he is, 92. Watch him take on the block of Lang, get low, and then spring off it. I mean, you see how he uses his leverage? I mean, if he was standing up high, I mean, Lang was down so low, it would have knocked him back a yard. But he learned from the last time they had a tight end in motion, and he got low that time and played it nice.
Bringing the chains out to measure. Looked like Green got enough on that lunge. We'll see. Just enough for a St. Louis first down. So while the Steelers take the opening kickoff and roll right down the field, very impressive start for the St. Louis offense.
Well, the hat's on the offensive line, and they knew it this week. They've got to pass protect, and they've got to be able to get some push on the offensive line to give the running backs a chance.
Green still in the backfield. Banks to throw. He has Kennison. He's inside the 35, and a 2nd and short coming up for St. Louis right now for a McDonald's game break. Back to Hollywood at our Fox Television Center. Hello, JB.
And hello, Joe. Philadelphia spotted Dallas 7 points in the opening drive, but come back on that Ricky Waters drive, all tied in Dallas at 7. Joe Buck, welcome back to you, buddy, from baseball.
All right, JB, and as you look at the NFC East, Washington out in front with a record of 7-1, then Philadelphia. And a good matchup with the Cowboys today. Banks to air it out. Isaac Bruce hits overthrown. There's an interesting matchup. Isaac Bruce and Rod Woodson, and we have a penalty flag on that play. It happened back near the line of scrimmage.
Offensive holding up front. And you know what? Bruce actually was open. Used a little stutter step and go down the sidelines, and Banks just aired it out a little bit too far for him.
Illegal hands to the face, number 86, offense, 10-yard penalty, second down.
That's Aaron Lang, who figures to get a lot of playing time today. The two fullbacks are a bit banged up for St. Louis, Gerald Moore and Derek Harris, and we may see Aaron Lang line up in the backfield for the Rams here this afternoon. Second down and 13 after the 10-yard penalty. Over the middle, incomplete. Isaac Bruce across the middle. Not able to hang on, and Isaac looking for a flag. He's not going to get it.
Great coverage all the way around by the Pittsburgh Steelers defense. They get caught up in some motion, but watch Willie Williams. Well, you look at that. You think that's incidental contact. Hey, if you can get away with it, it's not a penalty. As everybody knows in this league, no matter what you do, if you can get away with it, you got to use it.
If you're not cheating, you're not trying.
He was cheating that time, and it worked.
7 defensive backs into the game for the Steelers. 3rd and 13 for the Rams. Blitz coming. Rams pick it up. Kennison cannot get enough for the first down. Willie Williams again. We've been saying his name during this entire first possession for St. Louis, and now a 4th down coming up and a decision here early for Rich Brooks.
Well, look what the Steelers do here. They got 3 men up here rushing, only 1 down lineman. That's Steed. 2 linebackers. That enables them to drop 7 guys. And look at the coverage all around the field. That's why Banks had to get rid of it so quick and underneath the first down marker.
4th and 6. The Rams are in that in-between place in the field. It's too far to try the field goal. Ridiculous to punt. And the Rams, at least initially, look like they're going to go for it. Right now, they call timeout to talk about it. 7-0 Steelers first quarter.
A defensive team, you talk about goals and you set goals, but rarely do they come true. They're goals. But take a look at the Steelers defense so far this season and what they've allowed.
Nothing.
And there's the man in charge of it, Dick LeBeau. He's done a fine job.
4th down and 6 for St. Louis. Banks to throw, hit, dropped. Myron Bell.
And that's what the Steelers do so well. They can come at you from anywhere on the field. That time it was Myron Bell off the corner. Here, Myron Bell is out here, cheating his way in, and it just blows right by Gandy. That's a safety blitz, and it's not picked up.
Not only that, a loss of 15 on the play, and the Steelers start with it right at midfield. 2nd sack this season for Bell. It comes on 4th down. A turnover on downs, and Tom Zach hands to Bettis. Jerome Bettis. Goodbye.
You know, Jerome Bettis talked about this game and the emotion he wanted to play with in this game. You see Cower out there to congratulate him. Cower was a player. He played this game. He knows the emotion behind it. And Bettis, you know, he said he wanted to close the door on the Rams. Well, right there, he just slammed it. Slammed it and walked out of the room, and the crowd loves it.
Cower's the only guy that hit Bettis on that possession. 50-yard touchdown run. He has 88 on the day. Norm Johnson, perfect again. The 2nd career 2-touchdown game on the ground for Jerome Bettis. This one feels better than the first.
blocking up front. Justin Strelzik does a great job, but watch the missed tackles. 97, Chuck Osborne has a shot at him in the backfield. He misses, and then McBarrows comes into the picture up here, and he whiffs. So the big guy can't only pound you, but he can make you miss. And look, he's showing a little speed there as well.
Outrunning Keith Lyle at the end of the play. Now Norm Johnson to kick off again. Again, it's Thomas from across the 15, tiptoeing to the 30 and down at the 32. Jerome Bettis is closing in on his 7th 100-yard rushing day. And that smile on that face says it all. This has to feel awfully good for Jerome Bettis, who was just about literally ridden out of town in St. Louis.
He's a great guy, too. You know, just talking with him. He just walks in the room and lights the room up with his personality. And you're almost happy for a guy to watch him succeed when others said he was washed up.
Tim Lester, a big part of Jerome's success. Lawrence Phillips is back in the lineup for the Rams as they start at their own 32. Got 1.5.
You know, this 34 defense for the Steelers is rare in the league, and the guy that makes it work is 93, Joel Steed. Underrated guy. Should have been in a Pro Bowl last year. Watch, 2 bodies on him it takes, but watch, they don't move him. And then he comes off the double team and makes a tackle. I mean, the reason he didn't go to the Pro Bowl is because every team plays a 4-3 now, and he's a nose tackle. They feel there's no place for him. He should be there.
2nd down and 8. Banks has had time over the middle. It's Isaac Bruce into Steeler territory. Dropped at the 46. A gain of 20.
A lot of time on the play, and you can see how Banks, how good he can be and how accurate and strong his arm is when you can buy him some time.
So Isaac Bruce over the middle, good for 20 and a 1st down at the Steeler 46. Rams trying to answer. They have been able to move the football. Quick 3-step drop, complete to Kennison. Near 1st down yardage again, about a yard short.
Williams on the stop for
Banks has had time, Billy, when he's dropped back, and then that 3-step drop, he doesn't need a lot of time.
Exactly, they're mixing it up well. As opposed to the Steelers offense, they need the run to open up their pass. Well, the run isn't there for the Rams, so they're using the pass and in hopes that it'll open up their running attack.
2nd down and 1. Phillips. 1st down, St. Louis inside the 35. Rod Woodson, Bill Johnson there for the stop. He got 3 and a 1st down for the Rams. Well, as big a day as it is for Jerome Bettis, you have to believe Phillips has been looking forward to this head-to-head matchup. And as you look at what has happened during the season coming into today's game, well, Jerome Bettis is having a Pro Bowl season. Phillips trying to figure it out. 1st down for St. Louis. Toss to Phillips. Nothing. Darren Perry in the backfield there to bring him down.
Well, what you like defensively for your safeties to do is not only cover deep, but watch him come from about 20 yards deep to support the run. And that's what you like out of your free safety. He ducks under Moore's block at the fullback and just plants Phillips into the turf.
A loss of 1, 2nd down 11 for the Rams at the Pittsburgh 35. Kennison down to the 5. Eddie Kennison, the rookie, and it's 1st and goal, St. Louis at the Pittsburgh 5.
Watch what happens here. Levon Kirkland, 99, does not get enough depth in his drop. Willie Williams knows he has safety help, but see the cushion in between the linebacker and the corner and the safety?
Gain of 29 and a 1st and goal from the Steeler 5. Phillips. Nothing. Back to the 5, and that's it. Jason Gilden was in the middle of that for the Steelers.
Well, you know, I was talking about we have 5 rookies and the rookie mistakes. Phillips does a lot of things well, but here he doesn't have the vision to see the cutback that was there. He took it right into the hole where he was supposed to go instead of using that veteran vision a running back has and finding where the cutback lane is.
That is the end of the first quarter here at Three Rivers Stadium. The Steelers offense and Jerome Bettis rolling. The St. Louis Rams trying to answer. They trail by 14 after 1. For the start of the second quarter, Rams and Steelers. Rams offense has been terrific. Stopped on that 4th down on their first possession. Got a shot of Tony Banks, the rookie quarterback, 6 out of 7 for 79 yards. He is an impressive young quarterback.
Well, you know, you talk to the people in the Rams organization, and they'll tell you that every week their rookies, their 5 rookies on offense, are getting better. And none more so than Banks. And the maturity factor he has as a rookie quarterback. I mean, just talking to the guy, he has the demeanor to play that position.
Bad numbers for the Rams as they throw. Tipped, incomplete. Looking for Isaac Bruce, and it was tipped at the line of scrimmage.
One of the things you teach a defensive line to do on a 3-step drop, get your hands up and watch Joel Steed. Didn't hit his hands, kind of smacked him right there in the face mask. But all in same, job done.
Now 3rd and goal from the 5. Banks sacked.
Quarterback
Jason
draw.
Gilden.
Quarterback draw, and there just wasn't anything there.
Well, you saw the numbers. The Pittsburgh defense 3rd in the National Football League with defense inside the red zone, and the Rams cannot get the ball into the end zone.
Look at the pocket just close around him with Brenson Buckner.
Gilden was there, and he had friends. Buckner, as you say, was there for Pittsburgh. Now Lohmiller connects on a 25-yarder to put the St. Louis Rams on the board. The offense for the Rams is moving the football. Stopped on a 4th down, stopped on a 3rd and goal. They've scored only 3.
NFL Sunday is brought to you by Plymouth. One clever idea after another. That's Plymouth. By IBM, solutions for a small planet. By McDonald's, official break of the NFL. And by 1-800-COLLECT, the way we call collect today.
Beautiful city is Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and they have a very good young coach in Bill Cowher. Took his Steelers to the Super Bowl last year, youngest head coach to do that. Lohmiller kicks it away. This is Ernie Mills. He will let it go out of bounds, and the Steelers will start at their own 40. So the offense back to work. Jerome Bettis has 88 yards. He's the story today. He's been the story all year.
I have a great offensive line in front of me, and so they allow me to get into the secondary before I get that first hit. And so I think, you know, when a big back can get into the secondary before he get hits, it's pretty punishing for the secondary.
The only thing punishing on that run by Bettis was that they had to look at the back of him to scamper to the end zone because nobody hit him. 88 yards already, 2 touchdowns, and here come the Steelers again. They're starting at their own 40. And they hand to Bettis. Gets those big shoulders turned upfield, and he's across the 45.
You know, Bettis gets a lot of yards, and the reason is because of the guys up front. Watch Jonathan Hayes, number 85, on Kevin Carter. That's a tight end on a defensive lineman, taking him for a ride of about 3 yards and opening up the whole perimeter for Bettis. When you got guys up in front of you doing things like that to defensive linemen, you're going to be able to pick up some yards carrying the ball.
Cordell Stewart lines up in the slot to the left as the Steelers are faced with 2nd and 4. To the flats, Tim Lester. First down for the Steelers inside St. Louis territory. Gerald McBurrows was there for the Rams.
It's a Steelers
I mean, for the Rams defense, it's got to be getting frustrating. I mean, they're getting you on the run, and then it's creating second and short and third and short, and they can do whatever they want with you in those situations. I mean, the front four guys up front have got to find a way to take the sting out of that initial first down rush by the Steelers.
That's Whitman in motion. On first down, the toss to Bettis. Running left, hit and dropped by Todd Light. But there's Bettis. He gets hit at the line, and he falls forward for a couple. It's tough to drop him for a loss.
Jerome Bettis is a guy that's hard to tackle, and he's easy to tackle. And the thing by that is that he's hard because he's going to knock you back. He's going to knock you back when he makes contact. But he's easy because he's such a big target, you know where he's going to be.
Marco Farr telling us coming into today's game he had only tackled Bettis once. Before the tackle, he was facing forward. After the tackle, he was facing backward, and it hurt. Second down for the Steelers. Throwing. Caught. What a catch. At the 30-yard line, it's Charles Johnson.
Joe, Charlie Johnson's really emerged as Tom Zach's go-to guy. You know, with all the injuries, Mills and Yancey Thigpen out, Charlie Johnson, coming back off an injury of his own from last year, has really developed into the clutch receiver. And look at the catch here. What concentration on the ball. He's got a guy draping on his back. The ball's thrown low and outside, and he's got to lay out and pull it in.
14-yard gain. Tom Zach is 5 for 5 for 53 yards here in the first half. And another first down. And another give to Bettis. And another big gain. Light and Jones were there for the ride on a pickup of 9.
And running the ball isn't just the offensive line, it's also the receivers. Watch Yancey Thigpen put the block down here on the safety to spring this thing. I mean, when you get your wide receivers in the mix of blocking, you're going to get more yards. I mean, they are dedicated to running the football. And running the football takes everybody on the field.
So far, they have not been stopped at the line of scrimmage or behind the line of scrimmage. Bettis out of the lineup. This is Pegram. That's a gain of 8.5 yards. Call it 9, 2nd and 1.
There's nothing more demoralizing to a defensive team than just to get pounded like they're getting pounded right now.
Jerome Bettis is already over 100 yards for the day. It's his 7th 100-yard day. 2 touchdowns. Out of the lineup, and now it's Eric Pegram still in there again for Pittsburgh on 2nd and 1. Pegram breaks a tackle and gets a first down.
Pegram, the ball carrier. Pfeiffer on the stop for St. Louis.
Leslie O'Neal got the initial hit, and Pegram ran right through him.
Well, Pegram's a great back to have as a changeup. I mean, you get pounded by Bettis, and all of a sudden you get a guy like Pegram who comes in there, and he's got a 5.3 average himself. I mean, he's a guy that can put some moves on you and twist and spin at the line of scrimmage and pick up those extra yards. And if you don't believe me, go ask Leslie O'Neal.
1st and goal from the 8. Tom Zach 6 for 6, and Hastings down to the 1.
Joe, remember at the top when I was talking about Mike Tomczak making the right decisions and how he finds the receiver and he's not forcing things in there? That's exactly what he's been doing. And the reason he's been able to do that, see him look downfield, then he comes back to the left, seeing the whole field and finds the open receiver. And the reason he's been able to do that is because you're putting him in situations with 2nd and 4, 3rd and 2. And those situations make it easier on a quarterback.
Cordell Stewart back in at quarterback, 2nd and goal from the 1. Bettis fumbles it. Picked up by St. Louis and Keith Lyle. So Bettis, who is having a tremendous day, maybe a little anxious, Bill, and as he saw the end zone, he forgot the football, and the Rams take over inside their own 5. Jerome Bettis, his only mistake so far, may have cost the Steelers a touchdown.
Jerome Bettis wishing he had another shot at that. Looked like a good handoff by Stewart. Sometimes a new quarterback might mess timing up, but it was in his stomach there, and he just bobbled it looking for the end zone. And for the Rams, they've got to take advantage of the turnover.
Blitz coming. Banks hands off to Green, and he gets to the 5, and that's it. Maybe just short of the 5. It'd be nice to have a running game down close to your own goal line, and the Rams just simply don't have one.
No, they don't. They're trying to get out from underneath that tight area down there where your backs are against the wall. But watch Carnell Lake come up into the picture, 37. And he's your 8th guy up there. And that just clogs everything up. That's support.
The Rams today, 11 rushes, 18 yards. 2nd and 8. To the air. Banks gets rid of it. It's picked off by the Steelers. Ron Woodson. That's his 3rd of the season.
Watch Carnell Lake, 37, come up to the outside and put the pressure on Banks. Now, Banks has to throw the ball a little high because Lake is in his face. See him pull down twice? And he has to try to lay it over the top. But great perception, great identity of where the ball is by Woodson. He had his man in position. He turned back to look at the ball and jumped at the right time.
And now from the St. Louis 12, a 1st down for the Steelers. Tomczak back in at quarterback, going to throw. Just the shovel pass ahead, and that will draw the flag for intentional grounding. And now Jerry Markbright, because Tomczak was out of the pocket, Jerry Markbright overrules himself and quickly picks up his own flag.
Well, that's the rule on that. A quarterback is allowed to throw the ball away if he's out of the pocket, and the pocket is going to be from tackle to tackle. So you'll see where Tomczak steps out. When he comes out here and he throws the ball, that's when he's out of the pocket, and that's okay. You're allowed to do that for the quarterback's safety.
Tomczak throws his first incomplete pass of the day. He's 6 out of 7 for 60 yards. Forget it, Jim. He's just staying warm. 2nd down and 10. It's Bettis. Big hit from the secondary. McBurrows came up and laid a hit on Bettis.
Ball carrier.
And down to the 7 are the Steelers.
McBurrows right here has to come up. Remember, he was the guy, the safety that missed the tackle, whiffed on him on the touchdown. I mean, safeties have got to come up and support the run.
McBurrows has made 5 tackles. That's good news for McBurrows. Bad news for the Rams.
Rams defense, sure. When your safety's back there making the tackles, you know where the ball is.
Cordell Stewart in at quarterback in the shotgun. The quarterback draw. Wow. Touchdown, Pittsburgh.
Well, the Steelers were trying to show the Rams how to run the quarterback draw. Remember when the Rams tried it with Tony Banks? Well, that's Stewart. What an excellent job.
Herman O'Barry came in and tried to lay a hit on Stewart. Didn't wrap him up, hit him, and Stewart bounced off him and into the end zone. Norm Johnson, good again, and the Steelers lead it 21-3 here in the 2nd quarter. A 3-play drive, less than a minute off the clock. Cordell Stewart into the end zone, and the Steelers are rolling.
Injuries in the Rams secondary. They're forced to play people they don't want to, and Herman O'Barry right here, practice squad guy, is up, and watch him get run over by Stewart. You've got to wrap your arms around him and bring your feet. You can't lunge. Not in the NFL.
Big pieces missing in that secondary puzzle for the Rams. That's Toby Wright. Taken by J.T. Thomas again across the 20 to near the 28 for St. Louis.
St. Louis Rams.
Well, do you believe in reincarnation? Tonight, jumping on that X-Files wagon. Check it out tonight. Cordell Stewart, the Steeler offense resting while the Steeler defense goes to work. Greg Robinson now in the backfield for the Rams, and a toss to Robinson. Pursued and dropped at the 32. Gain of 4, 2nd and 6 coming up.
If you got here late to your seat, you missed a heck of a lot. I mean, the Steelers came out and they played Steelers football from the opening kickoff on. And they gave Rams exactly what they thought they were going to see, and that was Jerome Bettis. I don't think the Rams thought he could do what he did to them. So far, I mean, over 180 yards already and just pounding them and continually going to be pounding them.
2nd and 6 for Tony Banks and the Rams. Broken play. Banks able to stay on his feet, not for long. That's what happens, Bill, when you have 5 rookies in a lineup.
And it also is what happens when you have the problems you have up front offensively. Watch Levon Kirkland stay with the play. He recognizes the broken play right off the bat. Then it was a blitz on the corner by Perry, and Kirkland just, as soon as he sees the play break down, he's off and after Banks.
Levon Kirkland, a big guy at 264, moves around extremely well. He leads this Steeler team with 4 interceptions. Now 3rd and 11 after a loss of 5. Blitz coming, the throw behind, and the flag on Woodson. It was Kennison, and he was interfered with by the All-Pro Rod Woodson.
Well, he got Rod Woodson turned around, and Rod Woodson's only defense was to get a piece of his jersey. But the blitz was coming.
Number 27.
26.
26.
Thank you.
Defense. Automatic first down.
Here's Woodson on the rookie Kennison. He has the slant play, and then he just gets a piece of his jersey as he gets turned around there.
It's a pretty good piece.
And the veteran, you know, of course, he raises his hands and says, what do you mean?
Woodson has had some troubles this season. He's banged up, to say the least. A knee, a back, Achilles tendon.
Last week, an ankle.
Kennison already 4 catches for over 50 yards. And a first down for St. Louis. The toss to Robinson. Good block out in front of Greg Robinson, and he's out to the 40. Good block laid by Gerald Moore.
Gerald Moore's a nice block on Carnell Lake. And that sprung it open. Now, Greg Robinson was the guy that the Raiders had. Remember, he started out there for Los Angeles Raiders? Here's Gerald Moore, the fullback. Watch him kick out Lake. And that springs to the corner, and Oslavsky overruns the ball.
There is nothing wrong injury-wise with Lawrence Phillips. Coach's decision is the word as they go to Robinson. Quick throw. It's Kennison again. Willie Williams was there, but when Banks has had time, the Steelers have not been able to stop Banks to Bruce or Kennison.
And the Rams are taking what the Steelers are giving them, and that's the underneath. All the routes you've seen run today have been the underneath routes, the slants, where Banks is able to get rid of the ball quick to the guys underneath. They'll take the 4 or 5 yards from that. Now it's going to be interesting to see is when they go to the slant and go.
A first down for St. Louis, just shy of midfield. Back to Robinson. Big hit by Chad Brown as Robinson is dumped at midfield.
What an athletic linebacker Chad Brown is. He was an inside linebacker, and then he was moved to outside, and he can play both well because he's so athletic. Watch him, number 94, take on the block of Gandy, the tackle, get rid of it, and step in and make the hit. And make the hit with a formed tackle.
First tackle of the day for Chad Brown. He and Greg Robinson will remember it. There's Greg Lloyd, injured in the first game of the season.
What a guy to learn from.
2nd down and 8. Banks, no one was there. Carnell Lake the closest to it. Back for a McDonald's game break to our Fox Television Center at James Brown.
Joe Buck, take a look at the patience of Brett Favre. You know he's lost 2 starting wide receivers, but he goes to the guy who's open, Terry Mickens, with his first NFL touchdown. 23rd of the season for Favre, though. 14-10 pack. Back to Joe Buck and Bill Moss.
Thank you, JB. Green Bay out in front with that 7-1 record. All bunched up in the NFC Central. Nothing new there with Green Bay out in front.
And you know what? The Packers are a lot like the Steelers. I mean, they keep losing guys, and then somebody else emerges and becomes a star.
Guys are lining up outside Lambeau Field just looking for a tryout. Banks has to run, gets rid of it, and it's incomplete. Isaac Bruce, the intended receiver.
Myron Bell has been in the backfield next to Banks probably as much as Phillips has been back there, or Harold Green. I mean, every time there's a pass situation, Myron Bell, the safety, backup safety, is in on dime situation. He is blitzing and in the backfield.
Tony Banks now 1 of his last 5 after a 6 out of 7 start. And it's time for the Rams to punt on 4th and 8. Landetta, one of the NFL's best, to Andre Hastings, the fair catch at the 15. As we go to break, today's Aflac trivia question. Bill Cowher is one of 4 coaches in NFL history to lead his team to the playoffs in his first 4 seasons. Who were the other 3? Earlier, Jim Miller loosening up, maybe staying warm, maybe not. Miller is in the lineup. Tomczak is being walked to the dressing room. He hit his head on the turf on this play, and they're taking him off to get a better look at Tomczak in the Steelers dressing room. But there's nothing wrong with Tomczak performance-wise. 6 out of 7 for 60 yards. Now it's Jim Miller, his first action since the first week of the year. Hands to Pegram across the 25, and a first down for the Steelers.
Boy, I'll tell you what, the defensive line has just got to be frustrated. Watch John Jackson, the tackle, kick out on this block. Down block by the 10, and John Jackson kicks out, opens this thing up. Carlos Jenkins is out, and then here comes Tim Lester, blocking downfield by Myslinski, the guard. I mean, they are on cue today.
High-priced middle linebacker Robert Jones was washed out of that play. And a gain of 13. First down for the Steelers. Pegram again. Hit and hit hard. Dropped at the 30 after he got about 1.5 yards.
We were talking about, remember we were talking about Steed, what he does? Well, watch Jimmy Jones here. I mean, you can run the football when you get blocked like this. I mean, these guys have got to dig deep somehow, some way. That is a big hole, folks.
Keith Lyle was in there to fill it for St. Louis, and a gain of 1. Second down and 9. Miller, plenty of time, dumps it off. Pegram outruns Pfeiffer across the 40, and another first down for Pittsburgh.
Watch this little rollout. They're trying to get the screen developed here, and it's not there, so he just throws it out there to Pegram. And what a changeup it is from getting battered by Bettis to the little dink and dunk stuff and the things you can do with Pegram.
He got 12 and another first down for the Steelers, who had started with their worst field position of the day at their own 15. They're at their own 41. Miller's going to throw behind Lester and incomplete. So we are at the 2-minute warning. Actually, 1:56 remaining. Final couple minutes of the first half, a half which has been dominated by Pittsburgh. Black trivia question. Bill Cowher is one of 4 coaches in NFL history to lead his team to the playoffs in his first 4 seasons. The other 3, Paul Brown did it with Cleveland in 50-53. And a couple of Rams head coaches, Chuck Knox, 73-76, and John Robinson, now back at USC, 83-86. 4 wide receivers in the lineup for Pittsburgh, and the handoff to Pegram hit at the line of scrimmage and back to the line of scrimmage. That's it.
You know, Tim Lester was a Ram too, and he has his own way of saying hello. Watch 34, the fullback. Spring this open for Pigram. Hello, Keith Lyle. And then he gets up in front of the Rams.
As the Steelers hurry it up and complete a pass to Eric Pigram. Anthony Parker was there for St. Louis, and a timeout is called for. Timeout called for by St. Louis. They want the ball back. It's 4th down for the Steelers, and maybe a punt when we come back here at the end of the first half. Steelers will have to punt on 4th down. First Pittsburgh punt of the day, and it's Josh Miller, the left footer, and you talk about an ugly punt. Maybe one of the worst ever.
Remember, Josh Miller just got back last week. He was out with a hernia, and Shane Edge was filling in for him.
Bill Cowher may have a hernia.
Look at that look.
Punt.
Look at the look the head coach gives. And he's not looking at it. He knows I won't even look at the head coach. But Bill's circling around him trying to give him the glare. Look at the glare.
That was a 9-yard punt. Bill Cowher, the last guy to get that look was Gordon McCarter.
Now, I know Bill Cowher. I remember when he was defensive coordinator in Kansas City. You didn't want to get caught by the glare.
So a first down and great field position for St. Louis. To the sideline and over the head of Isaac Bruce. As we approach half, we'll tell you that coming up on the Dockers Khakis halftime report, JB and Terry will bring you scores and highlights from Week 10 of the NFL. Also, Fox NFL Sunday's Choice Cuts is back. Don't miss our October version. All that and more on the Dockers Khaki halftime report. Best field position, starting field position of the day for the Rams. And a 2nd down and 10. From their own 42, Banks has to run. Has pressure from behind and dropped at the 40. Chris Oldham came from the backside and picks up his first sack of the season.
Well, that's what you call a coverage sack. Because watch the time he has. His offensive line gives him time even with the blitz coming. He sits in the pocket nicely. But see everybody downfield here? They're all covered up. He can't throw the ball, and he does a nice job of taking the sack, if you can actually say that. But for him, it's a nice job because of all the fumbles that he's had.
First sack of the year for Oldham. 3rd of the day for the Steelers. It's 3rd and 13. Over the middle and caught. A first down, St. Louis at the Steeler 45. It's Isaac Bruce. A timeout is called for by St. Louis, and it's Bernd Brostek flat on his back. Injured on that last play. 28 seconds remaining, and a big completion, 15 yards to Bruce.
Here's Bernd Brostek, the center.
Third charge, timeout. St. Louis. Injury charge in the last 2 minutes is a charge timeout.
He goes down on his left arm.
So Brostek will have to leave. The Rams use up their final timeout of the first half, so they are left with no timeouts. Grudidaria, a free agent who walked into camp and actually started the season as the starting center when they had Brostek playing guard, will take over as Brostek is able to walk off under his own power.
And that's tough for a center, too, to come right off the bench and get thrown into a situation. And you have to come out and you have to identify what they're throwing at you defensively, pick up all the blitzes, make all the line calls, and have the timing down with the quarterback in the exchange.
Add 3 sacks to that graphic. First down from the 45. Quick throw. It's behind Bruce. Carnell Lake defending. I don't understand that throw at all. If they complete the pass, they're scrambling to get up to the line. They have no timeouts remaining. You would imagine the Rams trying to pick their way down the sideline, but that last throw incomplete over the middle.
The only thing that they've been able to do is throw across the middle. Throw the slants. It's the only thing that's been working for them.
Second down and 10. Pump fake. Banks gets out of pressure and will air it out. Downfield, no one there. And a 3rd and 10 coming up for the Rams. Kennison, the closest to it.
Eddie Kennison, Tony Banks saw Eddie Kennison put the move on Willie Williams, and he thought that he was going to spring downfield and go to the end zone. When you have your quarterback scrambling and you make a move and you lose your defensive back, you've got to get to the end zone. Well, what happens is Kennison came back. Watch Kennison up here. Now, once he starts scrambling, Tony Banks comes out. See the move? Now head for the end zone. But he didn't. He stopped and came back.
Now 3rd and 10 for the Rams at the Steeler 45. Banks sacked again. Number 4 on the day. And it's Brenston Buckner, his 2nd of the year.
The Steelers can do so much to you when you get in 3rd and long. Look at the guys come in every direction. And then Preston Buckner gets freed up there, and you got some great push outside.
A timeout has been called. 6 seconds remaining in the half. And it's now time for the Rams to punt. Off the foot of Landeta, it hops out of bounds at the 25. Tony Banks and the Rams will head for the locker room. Banks shooting 500
Not
in
bad
the first
numbers.
half.
It's just no touchdowns.
No touchdowns for the Rams all afternoon. The score 21-3 Steelers. JB and Terry will be along the Fox Television Center with the Dockers Khakis halftime after this.
Mates, 110 yards and 2 touches in the first half. Big game
by the Pittsburgh Steelers. We welcome you back to Three Rivers Stadium. We're at the half. Pittsburgh's out in front of St. Louis 21-3. Hello again, everybody. Joe Buck with Bill Moss. Bill, this is your moment in the sun, right? This is your big time of the day. And we're going to look at this Steelers running game, which for years has been as good as you'll find anywhere in the NFL.
And it was great today, too. And to run the ball, you need to have a great center. And you need to look no further than the Pittsburgh Steelers over the last 20 years. Remember 52, Iron Mike Webster anchored that line for the Super Bowl teams, and Franco Harris up the gut. Kind of looks like the runs you've seen today. And now it's Dermontti Dawson, one of the most athletic centers in the league, best in the AFC, arguably the best in the NFL. I've played against the guy. I mean, he can do a lot of things well. He's got power, he's got speed, he's got flexibility, and watch him pull in space, open the whole thing up, and he's been doing that today. Watch number 63. Walls off to Marco Farr, and then Bettis cutting off of him, finding the open hole. And, you know, in the last 20 years, they've had 2 centers. From 76 to 96, 2 centers, and between the 2 of them, 14 Pro Bowls. And don't forget, before Webster, it was Ray Mansfield, another great center for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Big tradition at center. And they've been running behind Dawson all day.
Yeah, as you look at the numbers, Bill, right up the middle, 97 yards. A big day already in the first half for Jerome Bettis, for Eric Pegram. And we came in talking about Jerome Bettis, and I think outside of that fumble, which he laid down inside the Ram 5, this has been a day that Jerome Bettis will never forget.
He won't forget it. It's his closing the door. He's slamming the door on the Rams. But you know what's interesting is you talk about Bettis and you think, okay, it's not like they didn't know they had to come in and stop this guy. They know the focal point was to stop Bettis, and they haven't been able to do it. How demoralizing is that?
So when you look at the Rams defense and what they've been able to do in the first half, they've missed an awful lot of tackles, not only up front. Nobody has brought Jerome Bettis down with that initial hit, but it's been back in the backfield. It's been safeties making tackles, and that's bad news when you're trying to bring down Bettis.
And that's what he talked about when he talked to us. He said, hey, if I can get through the line of scrimmage and get into the secondary, it's hard on those guys.
Jerome Bettis, as you said already, and as he told us, today is an opportunity to shut the door on the St. Louis Rams, not just physically, but maybe emotionally, coming to the National Football League, drafted in the first round by the Los Angeles Rams, two-time Pro Bowler last year, working behind an offensive line that was suspect. He had a rough year, and now he's in Pittsburgh. No better place for him. This is J.T. Thomas on a big return out to the 35. And that's where the Rams will start. What are you jumping out of your Fox Parka about?
290-pound Orphis Roy, the rookie. Watch 71. He's running down on kickoffs. This is 290 pounds, and he runs under a 5-flat 40. Watch him. Then he comes down. He gets rid of Figaro. Now watch this.
Mike Skurlock was the recipient of Orpheus Roy's big hit. First down for the Rams from their own 35. Blitz is on. Harold Green dropped for a loss of 1. The first half numbers for St. Louis, and on the ground, they didn't get anything done. Only 30 yards in the entire first half for the Rams.
Well, the one thing I've noticed about St. Louis is they're not getting any yards rushing, and their passing, they've been okay. But the thing about it is the Steelers are blitzing every single play, whether run or pass. Something has got to be open, and you have to take advantage of it.
Second down, Banks is going to throw. Finally finds his fullback Gerald Moore, and he is back to the original line of scrimmage. And not much further, Jason Gilden was there for the Steelers. Gilden's had a busy day already. 7 tackles unofficially and 1 sack for the third-year player out of Oklahoma State. Lawrence Phillips was dinged early on the left knee, then came back, was ineffective. Rams closed out the first half with Greg Robinson at running back. They open up the second half with Harold Green back there. Third down and 10. Isaac Bruce absolutely wide open, and he has a first down for St. Louis across the 45. Carnell Lake was late in getting to Bruce, and it was Oldham there helping on the stop.
Well, you see the 2 receivers bunch up over here. I mean, that's going to create a little bit of indecision and the ability to get these 2 guys tangled up. And that's what happens when you get 2 guys together in like a little group or a cluster at the wide receiver position. That's a change they made at halftime. They've got to find a way to help the receivers get open.
Gain of 12 and a first down for the Rams. Banks on the move, hits his fullback, complete to Gerald Moore, brought down by Jason Gilden, and a nice gain on first down out near the Pittsburgh 45. Gain of 7.
And that was another blitz, and they brought Carnell Lake off the corner, and that's what I'm talking about. That's the things they have to do when they blitz. See Mike Tomczak walking back on the field. When they blitz, there's got to be somebody open, and Banks has to find him, and he did that time.
Second down and 3. Harold Green back to the line of scrimmage. That's it. So a 3rd and 3 coming up for St. Louis. The running game just is not there this afternoon.
And Steed comes off, and in comes Bell and Figures, and here the dime package is in.
Rams have it. 3rd down and 3. Banks back to throw. Big rush over the middle. Incomplete. Chad Brown was back there, as was Willie Williams. And the pass intended for Kennison drops, and the Rams have to punt.
I talk to you about the blitz and the things they're coming with. Now they bring the linebackers. Normally they were bringing Bell. This half they come out, and here comes Levon Kirkland. Look at the hit he puts on Banks. Great coverage by Willie Williams.
Now Sean Landetta is back to punt for St. Louis with Andre Hastings waiting deep for the Steelers around his own 10. Penalty flags fly as it looked like the Rams, and this will cost St. Louis 5 yards. We apologize for the technical difficulties we are experiencing here at Three Rivers, and it is against St. Louis.
Penalty, 4th down.
Mark Williams, the newest St. Louis Ram, signed, left too soon. So Landeta now waiting. Should get rid of it near the Ram 40, and it's Hastings deep, standing at the Pittsburgh 10. Landeta able to let it fly, and it's over the head of Hastings and into the end zone. So they gave Landeta 5 more yards. He took full advantage, too much advantage, into the end zone after the 51-yard punt. The Steelers start at their own 20.
Is brought to you by Ford Escort. It's new and it's nifty, made for the smart, the intelligent, thrifty. By Sprint, the official telecommunications provider to the NFL. By HBO, it's not TV, it's HBO. And by Packard Bell, the world's #1 selling home computer.
Joe Buck and Bill Maas getting ready for the Steelers' first possession of the second half, and getting ready for Jim Miller back at quarterback. A mild concussion. That's the word on Mike Tomczak. They may check him later. First down, and the give is to Bettis. Ton of room. And Jerome Bettis a first down across the 30.
Watch Whitman. Whitman comes in, and he's a fullback, lines up over here. Now the play's going to develop here, but watch Whitman get downfield and block the safeties. Jerome picks his way through, and as he comes back, who's in the picture? Whitman blocking.
You can say what you want about Bettis. He's had a big day, and I'm sure it's an incredible feeling for Bettis, but now with the dancing and taunting the Rams sideline is a bit much. And Bettis got about a yard over the left side, maybe a yard, dropped immediately. A lot of frustration built up a part of Jerome Bettis last season, when after picking up over 1,400 yards in his first year, over 1,000 yards in his second year, had only 637 yards in 1995 in St. Louis. Second down and 10. Bettis 121 yards today. Quick throw from Miller, and it's not there. Charles Johnson, the intended receiver. Jim Miller was the starter for the Steelers in their opening day loss at Jacksonville. He went 9 of 17 for 83 yards. No touchdowns or interceptions, and immediately Bill Cowher went to Tomczak. Cordell Stewart lines up as a wide receiver. The 5 wide receiver set. 3rd and 10. Miller airs it out. Incomplete. Ernie Mills was wide open.
That's the first time today we saw the 5 wide receiver look. And what that 5 wide receivers does is it makes your DBs commit. Everybody's tied up, so the quarterback has a pre-snap read. He knows they're going to play 2 deep and man underneath. He knows where everybody's going to be at. And then you get the ability to pick and get people open. And that's exactly what happened to Herman O'Berry.
So Ernie Mills, no catches today. His second game back from the knee injury from last year's Super Bowl. Wide open, but Miller overthrew him. And now Josh Miller with the punt. Eddie Kennison waiting inside the Ram 30. Hit hard as he got to the 34. Eric Ravati was there. He had help from Botkin, the #1 punt cover team in the NFL. Showing it again here today, this time to St. Louis. Cowboys and the 49ers. That is next week on Fox NFL Sunday. Flag flies as Greg Robinson checks out the left side and got maybe a yard.
Leo Goez down.
Goez injured, and trainer Ron Dubuque will trot out and check on Leo. And we still have no word on what the penalty is on the play.
Personal foul Face mask on number 93 defense. 15-yard penalty. First down.
Joel Steed right in the middle.
Well, sometimes when you're a nose tackle, your job is not to let the guard or the center get off on the linebacker. And Steed took it to an extreme there.
He gets called for the personal foul, so 15 yards on the penalty. The Rams have had the ball 7 times now. In 5 of the 6 previous drives, the Rams have been inside Steeler territory and have come away with a total of 3 points. That's Lawrence Phillips all bundled up as the Rams have switched and gone to Greg Robinson and or Harold Green.
And the outcome hasn't been much different.
Bettis struggled last year. Phillips, Robinson, Green, whoever this year. The common denominator is easily picked out. It's the Rams offensive line.
And I thought that was an area in the offseason they said they were going to address.
Still struggling now, 1st and 10 after the penalty, and just into the game is Billy Milner, who took over for Leo Goes, and he draws the penalty as he left too soon. Milner just recently picked up in a trade with the Miami Dolphins as the Rams sent Troy Drayton down to Jimmy Johnson.
Ball start, number 77. 5-yard penalty. First down.
1 step forward and 2 steps back.
Well, they gave him 15 and the Rams gave him 5 back. So a net 10. And a 1st and 15 for St. Louis. So it's Grudadaria now in its center. Ron Brostek injured in the first half. And Milner at the left guard. To the sideline, Bruce. Wide open and a first down inside Steeler territory. Out of bounds near the 30. Willie Williams beaten on the play.
Yeah, 2 bright spots you look at the Rams on their team. And one of them is 12 Banks. See the pump fake? Then he lays the ball up and outside on the sidelines just for Bruce as he beats Willie Williams. I mean, those 2 guys are bright spots on this team. That's something you can build on.
Gain of 29 and a first down. Inside the Steeler 30. Incomplete, right into the chest of Eddie Kennison. And they're working on Willie Williams all day.
Well, Eddie Kennison's a guy that stepped in. He was a first-round draft choice as well, and he really was supposed to be the 3rd receiver. They were going to use him on punt returns and kickoff returns where he's excelled, but he was going to be the 3rd wide receiver. And when Alexander Wright got hurt early in the year, he was forced to play Eddie Kennison.
Second down and 10. Off the hands of Jermaine Ross. And Banks is saying, what do I have to do?
Yeah, I can't run out there and catch it for you, too.
Boy, Tony Banks, game after game after game, is getting better and better and better. He looks outstanding.
I'm sold on Banks. He's going to be quite a competitor, quite a quarterback in this league as long as he can stay healthy. And healthy is a question you have to look at and get him through this season with that offensive line.
Now 3rd down and 10. Over the middle, caught. Bruce inside the 15 and a first down for St. Louis. Isaac Bruce is now unofficially 1 yard short of a 100-yard day. It would be the first by any receiver against the Steelers this season.
And when you know you shut the running game down, you can't run. You know the go-to guy, you know who he is. And that's what makes it even more special about what Isaac Bruce is accomplishing out here.
A 99-yard day and a first down for St. Louis inside the 15. To the flat, Green. He got one.
And the thing you notice about that play is if the Steelers were running that play, they'd have all kinds of guys out there blocking for him. Now, the Rams run that play, and Green's by himself with about 4 or 5 black jerseys.
Levon Kirkland was there for the stop. Look up on the Fox box and look at the score. A game that has been really owned by Pittsburgh, but a score here by St. Louis. And it's a game. And remember, Tomczak has a mild concussion and is out of the lineup for the Steelers. Second down. Bruce inside the 5. Another St. Louis first down. And the first receiver to go over 100 yards in a game against the Steelers this year.
Yeah, and they like that matchup, too. They like Bruce on Willie Williams. He just takes him up and out, and look at the ball. Look where it's placed. Perfect only for Bruce. Now, I'm really impressed with Banks. We've talked about him a lot. He's throwing a nice ball, and he's doing it as he's getting hit and under a lot of pressure.
And without a running game.
There it is. You don't think they're like that matchup with Willie Williams?
Having a tough time setting up for this play on first and goal from inside the 5. Banks in trouble. Throws it away, and a penalty flag in the end zone. It was Bruce on Willie Williams again. And we'll see who draws the foul here.
I think that could be on Isaac Bruce.
Number 27, defense. Have the distance to the goal. Automatic first down.
Well, that's the guy they're going at. It's not on Bruce. There's a lot of contact going along between these two guys. Watch Bruce trying to get free. There's the grab. He just tries to slow him up.
So that will set the ball at the 1. Just inside the 2. And a first and goal because of the hold. Not a pass interference, but because of a hold. Half the distance to the goal line, and a first and goal from the 2. Brenston Buckner there for the Steelers.
Stop for Pittsburgh.
Here again, they go try to quarterback sneak, but watch Brenston Buckner. And nobody blocks him. I mean, when you're down on the goal line, your down linemen have to be accounted for. Nobody blocked Brenston Buckner.
So a second and goal from the 2.
That's a
Banks
fumble.
keeps it and is wrapped up back near the 10. A fumble, and we'll see who gets it. Still no signal from Jerry Markbright. It's the 5th Steelers sack of the day, and the officials will talk it over.
Penalty flag.
Penalty flag just comes in, but you can see the officials are having a tough time.
Progress was ruled on the play. There's no fumble. There's an illegal substitution foul on St. Louis. 73 failed to report. Penalty is declined.
Fred Miller came in as a tight end on the goal line package and failed to report. Look at the Steelers defense. Look at the pressure.
Now, how can you rule forward progress on that? That's ridiculous.
You know, the league is calling now, they have this new word called tuck. It was a tuck.
Should have been a fumble. Should be the Steelers' ball. Instead, it's 3rd and goal. To the end zone, nearly picked off and incomplete. Ron Woodson was there for the Steelers, and after a 1st and goal from the 2, again, the Rams cannot get the ball into the end zone, and they're forced to kick.
Boy, the Steelers' defense inside the red zone today has really been something else. They've been down there knocking at the door, but they just can't find a way to put it in. And it's because of the pressure by the Steelers defense. See the great play by Woodson? Timed it perfectly. That's why Rod Woodson is Rod Woodson.
Now Chip Lohmiller on to attempt the 27-yard field goal. He's 2 for 2 on the afternoon and 12 out of 14 for the year. But the Rams had their chance. A 1st and goal from the 2. Forced to put it through the uprights. Lohmiller 2 for 2, but the Rams offense an 0 for this afternoon.
Here's the play on the fumble, and it sure looks like a fumble. But what the ruling is if the quarterback is pulling the ball down like a tuck when he gets hit, it's supposed to be a tuck. But that is a fumble because he pulled it down in his stomach and the ball was stripped.
So that cost the Steelers 3 points as Lohmiller was good from 27. And now he kicks it away. This is Pegram. Eric Pegram, a lot of room. Big cutback. Pegram missed the step. Still on his feet. Inside the 10. Touchdown,
No
Steelers.
Flags. No flags on the play. Look at Bill Cowher. The one thing about Bill Cowher is he'll give you that glare and he'll give you that look when things go wrong. But when you do things right, he's the first guy. He's still out in the field. Look at him. He's going to go out there and help Pegram walk off.
Well, reality is setting in is Eric Pegram, who's been bothered by a bad knee. He's been getting better every week, comes off limping. In fact, I was shocked he was able to get to the end zone. Looked like he missed a step, then broke more tackles, and then outran the Rams to the end zone.
What a fabulous run.
91 yards unofficially. And a look at the touchdown from Pegram at normal speed.
Watch the missed tackles on Pegram as we get downfield. There's one. Lohmiller has a shot at him. There's another miss.
Pegram into the end zone, 91 yards on the kickoff return. Now they check his status on the bench. Guy go 91 yards into the end zone on a kickoff return.
Watch Orpheus Roy. Look at him sneaking. He's sneaking and he lays the big hit. He takes out 2 players. I mean, how do you sneak when you're 295 pounds? That's just great. I mean, that's fun football.
Pegram still with the attention over on the Steelers bench. It is the first return for a touchdown for the Steelers on either the kickoff or the punt team, and it belongs to Pegram. Eddie Kennison back deep for St. Louis from inside the 5. He lost the football. It belongs to Pittsburgh again.
And now it's Murphy's Law. That's what's taking place right now.
Dante Jones with the hit. And another fumble for St. Louis.
There's just some days you can't do anything wrong. And then there's some days, like the Rams are experiencing, that you can't do anything right.
Dante Jones ends up laying the hit that forces the fumble as Steelers get it right back. From the St. Louis 23, they hand to Bettis. Down to the 20. Dante Jones on special teams, 4 tackles, and now the forced fumble.
And it takes a special guy to play special teams. I mean, you're usually a backup player, And you're taught just to be relentless. That's where you let it all hang out. It's different from the structure of a starting offensive player or a defensive player. Those guys just run out there like crazed men and have a fun day. And Jones is having it today.
2nd down and 7 for the Steelers. Now the Steelers lose the football, and Bettis is there to fall on it for Pittsburgh.
When you get a new quarterback in, sometime all your timing's not going to be down. And right there on the exchange, you can see Miller clearly never gets a grasp of the football.
The Bettis is everywhere. But if he's not breaking one off downfield, he's there to recover a fumble. Of course, he laid one on the carpet in the first half. A loss of 1 on the play, 3rd and 11. Cordell Stewart is into the lineup. And the toss is to Hastings, running left, cuts back, down inside the 10, and another first down for the Steelers.
I mean, watch this. Now, you know they're winning the ball game like this, and look at the things they're able to do with their offense. They are so versatile. A little toss play outside, a little change up. First you bang the middle with Bettis, and then you flip the ball to the wide receiver. I mean, defensively, you don't stand a chance.
Keith Lyle with a touchdown saving tackle, a gain of 18, and it's 1st and goal from the 7. Bettis, nothing. And a minor victory for the Ram defense. Now 2nd and goal. There is some hitting going on, and Bettis carried the pile down near the 2.
Carried the pile, carried about 4 or 5 people with him. It's just amazing. You know, and they haven't been able to stop the run at all. And winning is achieved by doing a lot of things well, as we've seen the Steelers do today. And losing can be accomplished by doing just one thing poorly. And the one thing the Rams haven't done today is they haven't stopped the run.
Listen in again. 3rd and goal from the 2. Stewart, touchdown.
And all the Rams players are looking at each other. They don't know what just happened there. Look at them. They're looking for answers.
Cordell Stewart puts it into the end zone. His 2nd touchdown of the day on only 2 carries today. And Norm Johnson on again. It is 35-6 here in Pittsburgh. What a day for the Steelers. What a nightmare for the Rams.
Listen, Candace, we know what you're going through. Ever since Sprint launched that Diamond Minute rate,
people just won't leave you alone. And now we hear Sprint's really turning up the heat.
Now you can get 10 cents a minute 24 hours a day to the number you call the most.
So if you're watching, Candace, my advice to you is to go long and never come back.
I would ask to be traded to another city. I got it. Assume a whole new identity.
Hey, now there's an idea.
Call now and get a limited edition NFL phone card when you sign up for 10 cents a minute.
These days, trying to get on top of your financial situation is getting tougher and tougher. What you need is someone with experience and know-how. MetLife can help you get a grip on things and help you make sense of it all. Get met. It pays.
You okay?
I'm fine. Let's go.
Hold on. Where are you?
I'm in New York.
Who am I?
Hey, Coach.
And who are you?
I'm Batman.
Sit down.
You don't understand. I'm Batman.
I do.
Not going anywhere for a while? Grab a Snickers.
Hello, good citizen. My name is Batman. You could be my assistant. Would you like that? Would you like to ride with Batman?
They strike without blood.
The hot rookies are Tony Banks of the Rams, Keyshawn Johnson of the Jets, Terrell Owens of the 49ers each week. Degree will be tracking this year's hot rookies. You don't have to look past the Rams, really, when you talk about rookies. Banks a big week last week. Not bad here today, but there hasn't been much help around him. Johnson kicks it away. This is Kennison from the 10. Eddie Kennison already becoming one of the best return men in the league. Crosses the 30, gets to the 35.
Watch Justin Strelzik, number 73. Watch the block he puts on Kevin Carter. I mean, that's just absolutely fabulous. And the thing about the Steelers is the guys that they bring along with them. I mean, Justin Strelzik was a 10th round pick. And he's the guy that they put over there to replace Searcy. Searcy was worth $17 million to somebody, and they put Strelzik over there, who wasn't even he was always a backup. And it's guys like that are making plays and making the Steelers that they are.
Banks and the Rams offense back to work. First down from their own 35. Big rush. Banks is sacked again. Olszewski gets his first of the year, and from that to a McDonald's game break, back to James Brown at our Fox Television Center.
Check out these numbers on Ty Detmer. 17 of 28, 202 yards, 1 touchdown rushing, 1 passing. Here's 1 passing to Irving Fryer. Eagles on top of the Cowboys, 21-13 in the third. Joe Buck back to football, and Bill Moss.
Thank you very much, James Brown. A look at the NFC East. Philadelphia trying to move to 7-2. Banks trying to find time, gets rid of it. Had Kennison open, but it's tough to throw from your back. Oliver Gibson was there and in the face of Tony Banks.
Oliver Gibson comes in the game, gives Joel Steed a little rest on the sidelines, and you can do that when you have a comfortable lead like that. And that's a time when you get to watch the other guys develop. And Bill Cowher said one of the things he does in developing players is he finds ways to play them all, so that when somebody goes down and somebody gets injured, it's not foreign to them. They're ready to play. They've seen it before.
Now 3rd down and 21. Banks changing it up on the line.
And here they come.
Quick throw. It's tipped and incomplete.
That's Tony Banks. That's what he's been seeing today. It's hard enough, like I said earlier, it's hard enough for a rookie quarterback to come into a situation and run an offense because you have so much being thrown at you, especially a Steelers defense, everything that they do. But it's even harder when you're doing it, like Joe said, from your back.
Landetta punts it away. Wobbly punt. Hastings on the bounce. Crosses the 35, gets to the 37, where he's met by Cedric Figueroa. We've been waiting to do this all day. They strike without warning and kill without mercy. Ooh. Witness the most terrifying animal encounter. Acted it out for us. Been seeing the pictures all day coming back during breaks. Our one chance to see a buck attack a hunter. We'll get it, I promise. It'll be there. First down and 10, and Miller back to work. Rolling right and throwing incomplete for Charles Johnson. The crowd getting a little frustrated with Jim Miller.
A buck attack a hunter?
I liked it.
I'm a hunter, and you're a buck.
But I am not as dumb as the hunter that we will show you momentarily. Under a minute left here in the 3rd quarter. 2nd down and 10 after the incompletion. Rich Brooks is all bundled up. And his Rams are not performing well again. Boy, there's a great sign for the Steelers as Eric Pegram is back to work.
Well, at halftime, I told you about the centers and the way they've played over the years for the Steelers. Watch Damani Dawson. Watch the double team with Myslinski. Look at the movement, then off onto the backer. And that's the hole for Pegram. You can pick and choose wherever you want to go.
Pegram got 4. And a 3rd and 6 coming up for the Steelers. Direct snap to Cordell Stewart. Kevin Carter was there for St. Louis. And this time, it doesn't work for the Steelers.
Heads up play by Kevin Carter.
Final seconds of the 3rd quarter. Quarter number 4 coming up, and a 4th down for the Steelers. We'll have a punt from Pittsburgh when we come back. 35-6 Pittsburgh. Fox NFL Sunday will continue after this from your local Fox station. Story of the day, Tomczak out with a mild concussion, but the headlines will involve Jerome Bettis. You can bet tomorrow morning.
Actually, those 3 guys are the story of this season thus far.
Josh Miller is back to punt. End over end punt. It takes a very good Steeler bounce. They're there to cover it at the 5. So after a punt of 9 yards, then 42 yards, Miller punts 151 yards. Well, we couldn't find that deer earlier. It's worth waiting for, I promise you.
When animals attack.
That's coming up tonight. There is the deer. There is the deer tonight, 7 Eastern, 6 Central, right here on Nonstop Fox.
I mean, you think the Rams are having some bad luck today. How would you like to be a hunter getting beat up by a deer?
How'd you like to explain that when you get home?
Well, how about the guy filming it? Didn't even help his buddy out.
It was well framed. Blitz coming. Handoff to Harold Green. He gets across the 5 and back to the line of scrimmage. That is it.
This Steelers defense has just been remarkable. The way they fly to the ball, the havoc that they create, and they can create it in so many different forms. You know, they're one of the only teams in the league that run the 34 defense. And the reason they run that defense is because of all the things you can do out of it. And Bill Cowher doesn't leave anything unturned. He brings it all.
Second down and 9. Goaz back in the lineup for the Rams, and the incomplete pass toward Isaac Bruce. Talked about this at the start of the day. The Steeler defense, what they have done this season coming in. Well, they have allowed a 100-yard day by Isaac Bruce.
We have to change that to 1 there. That's a 1. Yeah, and I'm sure it's really going to affect them today.
Yeah. I mean, this has been a game. Bruce has 108 yards, but the Steeler defense has been outstanding. 3rd down and 9 for St. Louis. Forced to throw. I mean, Banks has absolutely no time. Kennison the closest to it.
And it's Bell again.
I mean, just walking in there.
Yeah. I mean, he's been back there all day. I mean, 40 has been back there as much as 12 because they've been forced to pass in passing situations in 3rd and real long. And you bring in your dime defense, and they don't sit back there and play soft zones. I mean, they come after you. They man up, and they bring blitzes.
Banks is 0 for his last 6. And now on 4th and 9, Landeta back into punt. Hastings waiting deep for the Steelers. Hastings inside the 45, and he falls forward to the 40 as he is met by Keith Crawford for St. Louis. A punt of 38 yards and a return of 4. This is our 3rd Orpheus Roy replay of the day. Congratulations, Orphe. Big day.
Most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road. By Visa, the preferred card of the NFL. Visa, it's everywhere you want to be. By Little Caesars Pizza, where you get great taste at a great price. Pizza. And by DirecTV, satellite TV at its best.
13:54 remaining in the fourth quarter as the Steelers start with it. Very good field position at the Rams 40. And they hand to Eric Pegram. He got 2.
Back up, guys.
Talk about a running attack that right now is about second to none. Steelers come into this game 4th in the NFL in rushing. They're averaging 6.2 yards a carry.
And nobody does it more powerful. Now in Washington you have Terry Allen, and then you have the kid up there in Denver that's playing well, but nobody runs more powerful than the Pittsburgh Steelers. As we heard that big pop all the way up here.
Pegram's getting the bulk of the work now, and he's down to the 35. He got 3, and it's 3rd and 5 coming up for the Steelers. McBurrows was there again. Gerald McBurrows unofficially leading the Rams team with 9 tackles. He is the strong safety.
Yeah, that's a terrible sign. When your safety is making 9 and 10 tackles and they haven't been throwing the ball. I mean, if they're throwing the ball and he's making tackles, that's one thing. But when he's making all the tackles and they're running ball, that's a bad sign.
Complete. And a first down catch. It's Hastings again. Ridden out of bounds just inside the Ram 21. Torn Dorn was there for St. Louis. A look at the AFC Central. Chance today for the Steelers to go to 7-2.
I'm putting it in there, Joe. I think it's safe to say.
I like your chances out on that limb. Houston is at Seattle later. They'll try to keep pace. 35-6 here in the fourth quarter with just over 12 minutes to play. That's Lester getting a rare carry. He's down to the 17.
Yeah, well, you know, you got to feed the dog a bone every now and then. I mean, Lester's out there pounding and blocking and picking up running backs and anybody in his way for Bettis. And now, you know, you have to reward him a little bit. You have a nice cushion like this and say, hey, here you go, take a run. Take a stab at it.
Tim Lester is a guy who didn't even get a chance. Where are we here? Well, Tim Lester is a guy who didn't even get a chance under Rich Brooks. He was cut before the season began. So sweet revenge for both. It's Pegram to the right side into the end zone again.
Now, excellent job by the trainers for the Pittsburgh Steelers. The last time I saw Pegram, they were carrying him off the field and barely walking. Game ball to the trainers.
He's limping again. Well, behind this offensive line and with the way the Rams have played defense, sure, he had to be held on the sideline.
Is it a limp? Maybe it's something new. Maybe it's like a post-touchdown celebration. Maybe that's what he does.
Could very well be.
It's a limp thing.
Norm Johnson on for another extra point attempt. He's been perfect all day. Eric Pegram into the end zone again. He's already returned a kickoff 91 yards for a touch. Now 17 yards for the touchdown, capping a 5-play drive covering 40 yards. It's all Pittsburgh today. A lot of questions will be asked of the Rams at the end of this one. Local listings for the game and time in your area.
Boy, that's a great flop weekend. Sit home and watch those two games on television. And it's getting about the time of season, too. You get a big bowl of chili going.
After the personal foul on St. Louis on that extra point attempt, Norm Johnson kicked from his own 45, and Eddie Kennison deep in the end zone had to take a knee. All right, so you flop. What does that mean?
Well, flopping, you know, you flop around. You rotate from the sofa to the recliner, and you always keep one thing in your hand. That's a TV changer, you know? So you can get the games and make sure you're on the right one. And you got great games next week here on Fox. And that's a great flop weekend.
Broadcasters are always looking for a segue. Today for the Rams, it's been...
They've been flopping.
Okay. It's been a flop.
They flop. They've been better suited to sit home.
Tony Banks and the Rams offense taking over at their own 20. Nearly picked off by LaVon Kirkland. What's going on with that Dallas-Philadelphia game? Back to our Fox Television Center and James Brown.
And the answer, Joe, they even matters up in Irving first. Yes, indeed. Emmitt Smith, 105th career rushing touchdown, and then the 2-point conversion to Eric Bjornsson, all tied in Irving. Back to Joe Buck and Bill Moss.
I have a feeling we will have another McDonald's game break on that one before the end of the day. A look at the NFC East right now, being led by Washington. They are at Buffalo today. Philadelphia, then Dallas.
That East is going to be a great race all the way down the stretch.
Because of the emergence of a team like Washington. 7-1, as good a record as there is in the NFC. First down, the toss is to Harold Green. He got 1 on 1st and 5. That'll bring up 2nd down and 4. Too many men on the field. Penalty called against the Steelers on the first play while we were in our McDonald's game break. There's Orpheus Roy.
And that's what you can do when you get a comfortable lead like this. You know, you get the young guys in there, get them developed, get them some playing time. And if you look at the Steelers team offensively and defensively, I mean, they've done a great job of keeping within themselves, using their draft choices.
2nd down and 4, and in and out of the hands of Isaac Bruce.
That's a rare drop.
You know, you can look at this day for the Rams, and there are things to take away from it. And again, Bruce has the big day, over 100 yards. But Tony Banks just continues to impress, and it's easy to forget he's a 23-year-old rookie when you see the kind of poise and calm he has about him when he's out there in a tight spot.
Well, let me just say this. You'd have to dig awful deep to find something positive to take away from this.
3rd down for St. Louis. Banks airing it out. Thomas the intended receiver, and it's incomplete, out of bounds, with Randy Fuller defending for the Steelers. And another 3 and out for St. Louis. They'll punt it back to the Steelers, who lead 42-6 with about 10.5 to play here at Three Rivers Stadium. Banks has proven to be one thing, a guy who isn't going to hang his head, point fingers. And he has not had a lot of help up front here this afternoon against this very good Steeler defense. 3rd straight 3 and out, and an ugly punt off the foot of Landetta. And it's touched by Jermaine Ross. And it will be downed inside Steeler territory. Just a 32-yard punt. Steelers rolling. It featured these same 2 teams on January 20th. The Rams led 19-17 after 3 quarters. Then Terry Bradshaw lofted a perfect 73-yard strike to John Stallworth, giving Pittsburgh the lead for good. They went on to a 31-19 win for their 4th Super Bowl victory. And since then, Rams have relocated. Steelers have 1 more playoff appearance, and while the Rams have had 3 head coaches, Steelers have changed to Bill Cowher. This is John Whitman into the secondary, and a 1st down inside the 40. McBurrows again having to make the tackle.
Yeah, Joe, I believe you could line up back there and run today. Everybody's taking their turns. Watch the guard, Myslinski, 62, pull out here and make a block. That springs the whole thing open. And he's starting in place of Brandon Stye. See him open that up? And he's the guy that was in there. He got his first start last week.
Now DeMarco Farr is down in a seated position back in Steeler territory, and he grabs his left ankle. As we talk so much about McBurrows, don't forget something we touched on earlier in the game. Toby Wright is not in this game because of a bad hamstring. He has not been active and playing the last 3 weeks, and they miss him.
Well, they do miss him, but if he was back there, all he'd be doing is making tackles as well. The reason they miss Toby Wright is his coverage ability, but that has not been the problem today.
Up front, it's been dominated by the Steelers' offensive line.
And, you know, it's just you just want to get out of here right now if you're the Rams. Hey, look at Justin Strelzik. There's a guy that's been doing it all for him. He started on every position on the offensive line throughout his career.
He wouldn't lose to that deer.
No, he would eat the deer. Justin, he looks like, if you're a WWF fan, that looks like Hillbilly Jim.
He's already grown his winter wardrobe, spilling over his chin strap. That's a nice look.
Yeah, and in about another month when they got the playoff run going here, that beard's going to be all ice, and it's going to be fun to watch.
Chuck Osborne has come into the game in place of DeMarco Farr. Whitman still in the backfield, the only back behind Miller. First down, and it's Whitman again. John Whitman inside the 30, inside the 25, down to the 23.
Flag down.
Flag down near the 30-yard line. And it's a hold on the Steelers.
Well, the Rams catch a break.
Ten-yard penalty, first down.
So the hold, I believe, it was tough to hear, is on Kirk Botkin. Getting a chance to play. I mean, one backup after another is in there for the Steelers. Botkin gets little time. He's on this team more for his long snapping abilities than his abilities at tight end.
And think about the Rams defense too. I mean, at the beginning of this season, there was a lot of high hopes surrounding this defense. A lot of big name players out there. A high price defense as well.
Their best rushing performance of the year for the Steelers. Now Whitman loses his footing. He had daylight as he tried to bounce it outside. He trips and falls at the 45. He got one.
It's a defensive goal around the league to keep your rushing total in a game under 100 yards. If you can keep the rusher under 100 yards, you have a chance to succeed. Well, they have over 2 games worth at this point right now. 228 yards rushing for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
DeMarco Farr back in the lineup for St. Louis. This is Whitman again. And on second down, he gets a couple over the right side. So good to see DeMarco Farr back in the lineup for the Rams. It's been a frustrating run for DeMarco Farr in 1996 after last year. Racking up 11.5 sacks. He has only 2 this season. He is now drawing the attention of any offensive line this Rams team plays.
He's drawing the double teams, and you're only as good as the people around you. And he needs some help.
3rd down and 16. Miller to throw over the middle. That's Jonathan Hayes, the tight end. He draws a crowd, and he is well short of a first down. Well, the Pittsburgh Steelers are undefeated when they do any of these 5 things, and today they've accomplished all of them.
Well, they just wanted to guarantee a win. And, you know, they've also, this franchise has never lost to a rookie quarterback.
That record will stay intact, and this season alone, the Steelers came in 6-0 when Bettis rushes for over 100 yards. They'll move that to 7-0. Josh Miller is into punt for Pittsburgh with Eddie Kennison waiting deep. And the Steelers will let the play clock expire and give Miller a little more room with which to work. The Rams boast Eddie Kennison, number 1 in the National Football League, with an average of over 20 yards per punt return coming in. 66 is his long, and he has returned to punt this season for a touchdown.
Well, the few times he's been out there to return punts, he's been covered up well.
High hanging, spiraling punt over the head of Kennison and
down again.
Kept in play and inside the 5 now. Referee comes in and says the ball hopped into the end zone. It crossed the goal line, and the Rams will start with it at their own 20 after a 40-yard punt. Steelers leading 42-6. Out in front, dominating this game here at Three Rivers Stadium. This game is presented by authority of the National Football League and is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without expressed written consent of the Pittsburgh Steelers and the National Football League is prohibited. Top to bottom, it's been a big day for the Steelers. Pegram a couple of touchdowns, one on a kick return. And now with Green and Moore in the backfield, Rams starting with it at their own 20. That's the fullback, Gerald Moore. Over the right side, he picked up 4, 2nd down and 6.
Well, now you come out here and you know you don't have a chance at all at doing anything in this game. So now you have to work on other things to get you through the season. Now you come out and you pound the ball back at him. You get your running game going. This is like practice.
2nd down and 6. The toss to Green will try the left side. Brought down just short of a 1st down. 3rd and short coming up.
And that's what they're doing. They're going to run their offensive plays like this is practice, like this is their team period in practice, and they're going to emphasize the run. And let's take something from this and let's start working towards next season and next week and the rest of the season.
Just about the entire 2nd, or in some cases 3rd unit is in there for the Steelers on defense on 3rd and 1. Very short one. That's Green, and that's a 1st down for St. Louis to the 35.
Green tackle by.
Well, that Pittsburgh Steeler punt coverage team, they have been tested the last 3 weeks. First it was Mel Gray with Houston, then Eric Metcalf. This week Eddie Kennison, the league's best.
And that's Ron Zook, the special teams coach. And he replaced Bobby April, who was up here and did such a fine job with the special teams for Pittsburgh.
1st down for St. Louis from their own 35. And again, it's Moore. He crosses the 40, brought down to the 41. Dante Jones was there defending for the Steelers. Pittsburgh looking for their 11th straight home win, including last year's playoffs.
I think they've found it, Joe.
I think they've found it.
I'm going to go way out on a limb to tell you that.
2nd down for St. Louis. And on 2nd and 4, the fullback Moore, and he is collared by Olszewski. Penalty flag on the play.
Jerry O, they call him.
There's no holding on the play. There's no foul for holding.
Officials have had a long day here at Three Rivers.
Olszewski, an undersized guy, 224 pounds of just attitude. You know all those no fear campaigns, all those slogans? Yeah, they had that guy in mind on every single one of them. That's the way he plays. He had a terrible knee injury 2 years ago, and doctors, coach, everyone said he'll never play again. He's battled back through it. This guy, you can't tell him no to anything.
3rd and 5. Banks eludes the sack, finds Kennison, who gets the 1st down across the 45.
You have to like what you see in Banks.
I said it was something to take away from this game, and you jumped all over me.
I didn't jump all over you, Joe. I was just saying you have to dig real deep. I mean, we're looking for things now, and we're digging, and you see him, and he's a good competitor. He's got a good head, mature guy, has all the physical attributes to play quarterback.
Let's put to an end this rumor that Tony Banks has small hands. Yeah. That's the reason why he's fumbling. That's not true at all. 1st down for St. Louis. Banks airs it out. Isaac Bruce, and it's picked off. Dion Figures. That's his 1st of the year. And with the turnover, another McDonald's game break. I knew another would come. Back to our Fox Television Center in JB.
And Joe, you were so right. Former Steeler Gary Anderson booting home a 30-yard field goal for the Eagles, who are up by 3 with 3:08 left in the game. Back to Joe Buck and Bill Moss.
Thank you, James Brown. Banks just throws his second interception of the day. It's the first of the season. Picked off for Dion Figures. It's the third Rams turnover.
That's 16 interceptions for the Steelers so far this year.
They have had at least one in every game they have played. It's Whitman again in the backfield for the Steelers behind Miller, and it's Whitman getting the handoff. Plenty of room. Down at the 25 with a first down for the Steelers. Keith Lyle there for St. Louis. A 15-yard run from Whitman.
One of the guys they brought in the Steelers this offseason, free agents, rare free agents, there's not many of them on the team, is 77 Will Wolford. He's going to come out and lead this play. Now, the thing about Wolford is, remember he was a tackle, an all-pro tackle up in Buffalo for a long time. Then last year he went to Indianapolis and played tackle there. Well, now here he's moved to guard for the first year. And he's doing a great job in there. Because to run the ball, you're going to be facing a lot of 4-3 defenses. You need a powerful guy over the defensive tackles, and that's what you have with Will Wolford.
Another handoff to Whitman. He is stopped. That's his 5th carry of the afternoon, and he's racked up 31 yards. A loss of 2 on the play, and a 2nd and 12 coming up for Pittsburgh. We are to the 2-minute warning. 2 minutes left in this one, and it cannot end quickly enough for Tony Banks and the Rams here in Pittsburgh. Or Miller Lite play of the game. It belongs to Jerome Bettis. His 50-yard touchdown scamper. His 2nd touchdown of the day. This is one of 5 Steeler rushing touchdowns this afternoon, which ties a team record. Last time they did it was 1981. Whitman met at the line of scrimmage, and he picks up a couple. What a day for Bettis. What a day for the Steelers. 250 yards in that ballpark. 247 before that last run by Whitman. Their 2nd best rushing day since 1994. They had 261 against Indianapolis. And Bill, as you look at their next 5 weeks, a very good Steeler team. They have to like their schedule as well.
That, if you look at it right there, you look at it on paper, it looks like they can run that. They haven't made many mistakes today. The fumble down the goal line by Bettis.
Big hit. Chuck Osborne. He throws Whitman back. And on 3rd down, the stop for the Rams, and it's time for the Steelers to punt.
Too little, too late. They needed that early in the first quarter. And, you know, Bill Cowher says about their running game, he goes, you know, teams can slow us down. But if they're going to slow us down, they're going to have to do it for 4 quarters, because we will not give up running the football at them.
A loss of 1 on that play. And on 4th and 10, Josh Miller back to punt with Eddie Kennison waiting deep. And another test for this punt cover team of the Steelers. From inside the 30, it's Kennison. Nowhere to run. And the great punt coverage for the Steelers continues. Rams get it back. Final snap of the day coming up when we come back to Pittsburgh.
Reaching. They have 12 men on the field on offense.
Flags fly.
They had 12 men on the field on offense.
A toss to Robinson. He gets nothing over the right side. A couple. And too many men on the field for the Rams and their problems. They can't get out of here quick enough.
Well, they wanted to try that tactic. They should have tried it earlier.
Well, we've been talking about this Steeler defense all day, and there are the numbers with maybe one more play remaining.
Boy, you know what? There's a lot of smiles go around tonight, tomorrow morning when you watch the film.
Steelers have declined the penalty.
You know, some Monday mornings you just don't want to go in and watch the film, and the Rams are going to be like that tomorrow. But the Steelers, guys will be getting here early. They can't wait to see themselves on film and get compliments passed around the room.
Bring a little popcorn in, maybe flop and watch the film.
Yeah, flop and get congratulated, pats on the back. You know, everybody pats each other on the back. Everybody's happy. Makes for a great week.
Second down.
Ron Woodson, an interception today, 3 on the year. Big day for that Steeler defense, and some of the starters stand and watch. 21 seconds remaining. 42-6. Steelers lead. The toss to Robinson. Brought down inbounds. The clock will continue to run, and that will be the final play of the day, as Lithon Flowers is there for the Steelers. What a day for Jerome Bettis. A day of retribution, and as he put it, a day to shut the door on his career with the LA Rams and then the St. Louis Rams. And there will not be many smiles on the Rams charter back to St. Louis. The NASDAQ postgame show is coming up on the other side of the break. A wave from Bill Cowher and a smile on his face. The Steelers move to 7-2 with a 42-6 win over the Rams.
Conclusion around the NFL, but let's talk about one that has in fact been concluded. Of course, the game we're talking about, the Eagles and Cowboys. This one is late in the fourth. Eagles intercepted a Troy Aikman pass, and it goes all the way back for the score. Eagles on top 30-21 with seconds remaining. Now the game, Cardinals and the Giants. Boy, the Giants creeping back on the fringes of playoff contention, if you will. Yes, it's still mathematically very much alive. 16-0 there. Packers 28-18. Boys, Brett Favre having a day. 4 touchdown passes. 4th time this season he's thrown for 4 TD passes. Yes, indeed. And guess what the Steelers did to the Rams?
Jerome Bettis over 125, well, actually 129 yards rushing. This 50-yard touchdown right off the bat, saying to his old teammates, hey, so you thought I was washed up. Now back. Slash, as they called him, Cordell Stewart. He goes in from 7-yard line. And then you see it, Eric Pegram takes this ball, goes 91 yards. Up the middle, down the middle, over to the left, picks up some blocks all the way, 42-6, Pittsburgh, an absolute romp over the visiting Rams.
I would say that is a correct choice of words. The Bears and the Bucks.
For the Pittsburgh Steelers on the road, a loss at Houston, a tough win at Atlanta. They were coming home where they'd won 10 straight games. The St. Louis Rams, among many other things, led the NFL in turnovers, and Pittsburgh feasted on them. Really, if you thought about this game, what did you really think was going to happen with Jerome Bettis going up against his former team and Coach Rich Brooks? It's chilly, but Jerome Bettis says, let me light up the blast furnace. Bangs his way up the middle for 8 yards. Once upon a time, Jerome Bettis, 1,000-yard season for the LA Rams. Look at him as a Steeler, 10 more yards. And second to goal, Cordell Stewart. No, we just give it to Bettis when he's running like that. 8 carries, 38 yards on the first possession, 7-0 for the Steelers. Later in the first quarter, Rams go for it on 4th and 6 with the rookie cornerback Tony Banks. Myron Cope Bell comes in and slams it down to the corner, blitz in the Steelers' hole. Then Jerome Bettis, north and south all the way. Look at him go. Go all the way. No one's going to catch him. Bettis at over 100 yards early in the second quarter, 14-0 Steelers.
Yeah, and on the other side of the field, you see no holes for Lawrence Phillips there trying to punch it in inside the 10. Then Tony Banks off the quarterback draw loses 2. Again, you see Banks from the 5-yard line, not even a second to take that next look toward another receiver. And then Carnell Lake, very deceptive blitz here, starts back into coverage, then comes on Tony Banks and forces the interception to Woodson.
Mike Tomczak, who has played so very, very well for the Steelers since week 2, is hit by DeMarco Farley. He throws the ball away, kind of like a set shot. Didn't return, although he did hold for extra points. He left with a mild concussion after 6 for 7 throwing. Cordell Stewart went in, and on the quarterback draw, Cordell slashes his way in, 7 yards, 21-3. Steelers 4 touchdowns, 5 shots in the red zone for Pittsburgh. After the Rams make it 21-6, Eric Pegram gets the ball on his own 9, cuts left. Watch. He's up to the midfield stripe. Torn door, number 46. I don't think so. I don't think Lowmiller's going to get him. Go all the way. 91 yards. Eric Pegram, 7 with the kickoff return. And Bill Cowher had plenty to smile about. The jaw way out there, the chest way out, because the Steelers laid it to the Rams 42-6. We told you Bettis had over 100 yards and 2 touchdowns early in the second quarter. This one ended with a $129. And the Pittsburgh Steelers, historians should note, are 7-2 now for the first time since 1979. Why is that significant? They won their last of the 4 Super Bowls that year. They beat the Rams, as a matter of fact, out in Pasadena. Tommy, this one, you had a feeling it could go this way.
Well, we actually said this morning this could be a laugher by the time it got to the fourth quarter. Now, we could talk about the 42 points that were scored by the Pittsburgh Steelers, but I'd rather talk about the 6 points scored by the Rams. This team began the day ranked 30th in offense and 30th in defense in the National Football League. They lived up to billing. They gave up 6 sacks to their quarterback, gained 52 yards rushing the football, gave up 42 points, and I think it leads us to believe, don't be fooled by the 2 wins that they have on their record. They truly are the worst team in football right now.
They got off to such a nice start a year ago, but that was a year ago. A year ago, and Pittsburgh, they were just overmatched this afternoon. When we return, plenty to come. Much. Jerome Bettis is 953 yards rushing this year and 7 touchdowns on the ground. The Rams, as an entire team, a team he used to play for until this year, 733 yards, 4 rushing touchdowns. Who got the better of the deal?
The Rams dumped him on draft day last year in a trade with Pittsburgh. And then Jerome Bettis faced the team that dealt him away, and the underratings and the overratings went out the window. Rams at Pittsburgh, and Jerome's already scored once, 7-0 Steelers. Watch this. You think he's a little upset at the Rams? Look at him rumbling, fumbling, numbling. 129 yards in the day, 14-0 Steelers. 21-6 in the third. Eric Pegram from his own 9-yard line. Now, let's tell you a little bit about the history of the Pittsburgh Steelers franchise. For a while, they were known as the Pittsburgh Football Pirates. Then they became the Steelers when there was actually a franchise shift when they moved to Philadelphia, and Philadelphia moved to Pittsburgh. They also merged briefly with the Eagles during the Second World War. It's over. 28-6 Steelers. Cordell Stewart even came in at quarterback, 3-yard touchdown run. 129 yards, 2 touchdowns on the day, and Bettis only touched the ball 5 times in the second half as the Steelers eviscerate the Rams. Bettis now just 47 yards shy of 1,000. He claims it's nothing personal against Rams coach Rich Brooks, and it don't rain in Indianapolis in the summertime.
I could be a breakaway runner through that hole 50 yards. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, he had a huge hole, and he took it to the house.
I just wanted to let them know that I was a game breaker. There was some comments about me not being a game breaker, and I just wanted to show them that, hey, I'm a game breaker, and I can make things happen. It was special because, you know, the way that things went down, but it's just another game, and we got a lot more to go.
Bitter? Rams got rid of Notre Dame Jerome because they thought Lawrence Phillips could do the job. On Sunday, Bettis outgained the Rams better than 2-1, and he outgained Phillips 129-6.